welcome back to Stardusted Reads. I'm Chris, and today I will be talking about my unread Sapphic books. So these include only the books I own. If I were going to go over the entire TBR, including the ones on Goodreads, it would take far too long. I also am not including ebooks or audiobooks in this list. I can make another video about that if you guys want. I just think I have enough that I own physically that there's no real need to include the ones I only own on ebook or audio. These books are in no particular order. I just stacked them based on where I saw them on the shelf. First we have You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Leviathan. Hamilton! Hamilton! Stop! Come here. You Know Me Well by Nina LaCour and David Leviathan follows two teenagers. One is a lesbian, one is a gay man. After they meet at a party, if I recall correctly, it follows them as they become friends and just become closer and closer. Our female lead, Kate, has just met the girl that she thinks might be the girl of her dreams, and our male lead, Mark, is in love with his best friend, who may or may not be straight. I'm sure you can tell by the description I just gave you that this book is not a recent release. I think it came out in 2014. Right, this came out in 2016 actually, which isn't actually too long ago, but I think in the world of books and the world of publishing is pretty long ago, because this is a very dated premise, I would say. I would actually say I've read the majority of this. I never officially DNF'd it, but I was reading it during a week of standardized testing my sophomore year of high school. And I never actually got around to finishing it. And yeah, I mean, I plan to finish reading it. I'd actually probably have to start from the beginning again, but yeah, just have not gotten to this one yet. I bought this, I think, in 2016. Probably December 2016 or January 2017. And this was probably the first LGBT plus book I bought at all. And yeah, I would have been like 16 when I first picked this up. I didn't even know I was a lesbian then. Next we have Ain't I a Woman, a book of women's poetry from around the world. This I picked up recently from my high school's used book sale. So this is the title says what it is. It's a collection of women's poetry, and while I am not familiar with all of the poets, Sappho and Alex Walker are included in this collection, and they're both Sapphic. One of them is, Sappho. I want to read this soon, but I enjoy poetry. I like poetry a lot, but I like poetry collections that are by one author more than I like poetry collections that are by a number of authors, so I'm not sure how I'm going to actually feel about this one, but I hope I like it, obviously. Next we have Tell Me How You Really Feel by Amina Safi. This is the book I've held most recently. I got it, no, that's not quite correct. I've gotten some poetry collections recently, but this is the most recent Sapphic book I've held that I haven't read, because I got it the same time I got my copy of Her Royal Highness, and that one I've read. So, but yeah, so Tell Me How You Really Feel is an enemies to lovers story following Sana and Rachel. Rachel hates Sana because of a miscommunication that happens. Rachel thought Sana was making fun of her when Sana was actually just trying to ask her out. Yeah, Rachel ends up Sana ends up having to star in, I think, a short film that Rachel is producing or filming, directing. And so they do that and they end up falling in love. This is something I plan to read really soon, actually. I'm probably going to be reading it for Sapphic-a-thon, which round 3 is happening in the second week of May. It's happening sometime in May. Next we have Megan Linus by Hannah Divinsky. This is another dual perspective book that follows a lesbian and a gay man. In this one, Meg, our lesbian, has just broken up with her girlfriend, and she is struggling with that. And our male character, Linus, has met the boy of his dreams, and he is trying to work up the courage to ask him out. I've read a few pages of this. I still have my bookmark in it. I read 15 pages of this, I think last year when I was a senior in high school, but I am not 100% certain when it actually was, but yeah, I picked up, I think, when I picked up You Know Me Well. It might have been the year after I picked up You Know Me Well. When did this come out? Okay, it came out in 2017, so I definitely picked it up the year after I picked up You Know Me Well. So this and a few of the other books I'm going to mention, including You Know Me Well, are books I picked up during the period of time where I was not, under any circumstances, reading. I didn't finish a single book that wasn't The Great Gatsby from the time I was a freshman in high school to the summer right before my senior year of high school. I just did not read, and I was still buying books, so there's a decent amount of books I own. There's a small amount of books I own that I bought from 2016 to 2018 that I just haven't read, but I'm still very interested in reading, or I would have unhauled them. I just haven't gotten around to them, and I'm kind of worried I never will. Here we have The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Wanda Petrus. This is an own voices romance book between two girls that are Trinidadian. Trini. One of them grew up in Trinidad, and after she is caught making out with her girlfriend, her mother sends her to the United States, and there she meets our other love interest. And they basically just hit off a romance from there. I bought this in 2020. At the beginning of the year. But yeah, so I'm very excited to read this, actually. It is something I want to read. I just have trouble physically reading books and actually getting around to physically reading books, but this is also going to be a priority for Sapphic-a-thon, which I still don't know when that is. Did I say that Tell Me How You Really Feel was my most recent hauled book? No, it's this, Missing Presumed Dead by Emma Berquist. This I got today, like the day of recording. Yeah, I got this in the mail. This is about a young woman who I think can communicate with the spirits, and she ends up meeting the ghost of a girl that was murdered who is trying to get revenge on the people who murdered her. I just read the summary again, and it says that when our main character Lexi touches someone, she sees how and when they will die. I just want to say I now have very high hopes for this. I'm hoping it will be what Colorblind wasn't. Crow Girls by Claire Legrand. This is, I said Legrand, I didn't say Legrand. We are progressing, folks. This is a book about they're the girls. They live on an island, and every year the island kills a girl on the island, and basically it's them trying to get to the bottom of why this keeps happening. It has paranormal elements. I think the island has a point of view in here. This has been on my TBR for a while. I know there is a female-female romance in this, so that is, in fact, why I picked it up. But I do have interest in this outside of just the female-female romance, I promise. I also just think, I love this cover so much. It's not the most colorful cover, and I tend to like colorful covers, because I just like color. But I just think this is very haunting and beautiful, and 10 out of 10, good cover. And now we have The Midnight Lie by Rutkoski. This is a book I know nothing about. Literally nothing about. So normally before I buy a book, I would in fact read the summary, the synopsis of a book. However, with this book, I heard it was female-female. And normally that's not enough, and hasn't been enough for me to buy a book since 2018. However, Rutkoski wrote my favorite middle grade book ever. I read it in 8th grade, but The Shadow Society by Rutkoski was my favorite book of all time for so long. It was so good. I loved it so much, and hearing that she was coming out with a female-female book was like music to my ears. So, because I was gonna read the Winner's Trilogy, which is the series that this is a spin-off of, and I didn't, because I didn't want to buy something that was straight. So yeah, I picked this up, and I'm gonna read it, and I think I'm gonna love it, and I'm probably gonna go back and read the Winner's Trilogy once I'm done with this. I think that this is the first book in a series, which is nice. I'm excited. I've also heard great things about this book on Twitter. I don't think anyone's talked about it on BookTube, at least to my knowledge. I think Heather from Aphrodite Reads has mentioned it in a live or two, but do not quote me on any of that. The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed follows a group of girls who will go to a boarding school, and after a girl is raped, they begin to try to get revenge and hold them accountable. Yeah, so they are looking to get justice for this girl who was raped and run out of their town. Maybe it's not a boarding school. Oh yeah, it's not a boarding school. I assumed it was a boarding school for all these years, but it's not. I think one of the 3 main characters in here is LGBT, but I don't know who it is. Never mind. It is Rosina Torres. She is LGBT. So I want to read it, but I'm not the most excited to it, and I don't have much motivation to pick it up. I talked about Time by Eto Adnan, translated by Sarah Riggs, in my poetry collection video, which I will have up here. But this is a collection of poetry that is centered around time, and it is written by a lesbian author, which is why I've included it in this list. It was nominated for it was a Lambda Literary Award lesbian poetry finalist. Don't have much to say about it beyond that, other than I've read a few of the poems and I'm not sure I'm feeling it. Get it together, Delilah. So during her senior year of high school, Delilah is left to take care of her family's cafe, but she has to juggle her friendships and schoolwork and the cafe, and she doesn't really have time for romance. However, this young woman, I believe she's a senior in high school as well, comes to the cafe, starts to becomes a regular, and Delilah develops feelings for her. I bought this the same time I bought Megan Linus, so yeah, no, it's just one of those books that I want to read, but I'm not excited or prioritizing reading, but I probably should. I've owned this for many years. The last book is It's Not Like It's a Secret by Mrs. Sikora. This follows a Japanese American teenager as she is forced to move from the East Coast to the West Coast after her father gets a new job. She is not realizing her identity, but she is becoming more comfortable in it, and she falls in love or has an attraction with one of the girls at her new school. And yeah, I'm reading this book this month, I swear to God. I put this on my Reading Rush 2019 TBR, and if I don't have it read by then, well, by the Reading Rush this year, I'm going to write it. I tweeted, if I don't read this book this month, please put me in book jail. So I'm going to be reading this month, and no one can stop me. That is all I have for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. I hope you guys can see my cat. I really hope so, because I'm putting him in the thumbnail.